1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I'm upper class, high society. Cooper, stop laughing. God's gift to ballroom notoriety. Yes, and I always fill my ballroom. The event is never small. The social pages say I've got the biggest balls of all. Ladies, I've got big balls. I've got big balls. And they're such big balls, and they're dirty big balls. And he's got big balls, and she's got big balls. But we've got the biggest balls of them all. Now my balls are always bouncing, and my ballroom always full. And everybody comes and comes again. Woo! If your name is on the guest list, no one can take you higher. No, everybody says I've got great balls of fire. Oh, I've got big balls, so I've got big balls. And they're such big balls, and they're dirty big balls. And he's got big balls, and she's got big balls. But we've got the biggest balls of them all. Now some balls are held for charity and some for fancy dress. But when they're held for pleasure, they're the balls that I like best. Stop looking at me. My balls are always bouncing to the left and to the right. It's my belief that my big balls should be held every night. Yes, we've got big balls. We've got big balls. We've got big balls. Daddy's big balls. And he's got big balls. Oh, and she's got big balls. But we've got the biggest balls of them all. We've got big balls. And I'm just itching for you to see them. We've got big balls. We have everything you could ever want. We've got seafood cocktail. We've got tuna fish, crabs, and my special gravy. Yes, bollocks, snackers, bollocks, snackers, bollocks, snackers, bollocks. Bollocks, snackers, bollocks, snackers, bollocks, snackers, bollocks. Bollocks, snackers, bollocks, snackers, bollocks.
How's that for a fucking sound check?
The biggest balls in the... I actually do have the biggest balls, you know.
I know, I've seen them. They're lovely.
Cool. Hey, what's up? How's it going? All right, start the game. Well, this last time we were here, yeah, the case turned out yeah, the case turned out to be very different. Yeah, it's my intro song. I play the intro song and then I start the stream. Just wait for, you know. All right, so I completely forgot what I was doing. All right. Hold on, let me present his profile. CEO of our company, he was a pretty good guy. Huh? Really? Yeah, you bet. You know how I'm not very good about working hard, right? Yeah, I kinda noticed. Well, guess what the boss said to me about that. I don't expect much work from you, Larry. In return, just don't expect much pay. Oh, I see. I guess he had to.
Oh well.
I guess he had to follow some kind of dumb law about having security here in the building. So, in order to pay the lowest wage possible, he went to the bottom of the barrel. Rip. Join the Discord real quick. To be honest, I really looked up to the boss. If I ever grow up to be a CEO, I want to be just like him. And don't worry, Nick, I promise I'll hire you for security. Yeah, I completely forgot what I had to present to him. Alright. I want to present this to you, Larry. I'll send it to you. Cool. The buzzer in the CEO's office is directly connected to this room, right? That's right, just like my heart is connected to yours, Maya. Alright, cool. Huh? Go ahead, Maya. Press the buzzer in your heart. I don't know what that means. I promise I'll come running to your rescue like the professional guard I am. Wow, that was pretty good. Thanks, I try. Do you think you could tell us about the buzzer now? Yes, please. Please tell us. Okay, I guess so. Prepare to be wowed! I accidentally pressed the buzzer earlier. Yeah, I heard it. So that was you, huh? You're a security guard, aren't you? Why didn't you come to the CEO's office? Well, this is the third floor of the basement. The CEO's office is on the first floor. I thought it would be a good idea to, well, adopt a wait and see approach. Plus, there's a police detective here, right? Plus, there's a police detective here, right? I just didn't think it was necessary. It's as if he's trying to win an award for the laziest person on the planet. Let's get back to talking about the night of the murder, okay? Is it true that the buzzer didn't go off that night? There must be a record, right? You must have had a look at it, right? Of course I did. And I couldn't possibly have made a mistake either. Do you think you could take just one more look for me, pretty please? Alright, sorry, I gotta fix a few things here. Alright, do you think you'd take just one more look for me, pretty please? Oh, okay. I just can't say no to you, Maya. What do you think, Nick? He's probably right. I don't think even Larry can make a mistake like that. What? Ah! What is it? What's wrong? I made a mistake! Oh, God. Huh? But how? It can't be. It's impossible. Okay, enough already. What about the records? What about the records? That night, it went off just once, in the morning, at around 1 a.m. Just once in the morning at around 1 a.m. 1 a.m.? That's when the murder happened. Really? Are you serious? It's terrible, it can't be! The buzzer went off once at 1:02 a.m. on October 12th in the CEO's office. God, what do we do? I have the feeling we should present something else to him. Oh. Ah! Mr. Wright! Mr. Delight! Did they finish their interrogation? Yes, but please don't leave me alone anymore! Mr. Delight, you lied to us before, didn't you? Well, you see... On the same night the Sacred Urn was stolen from Lordly Tail Department Store. The blackmail letter you got summoned you to KB Security to hand over some money. And then, that's where the CEO Kane Bullard was murdered. But, there's only one Rhonda Light, am I right? So the only question is, where were you that night? This time I want to hear the whole truth. Your life depends on it. Okay. Mr. Delight, do you still insist that you are Mask the Mask? Isn't that what I've been saying since yesterday? That was a quick response. Give me a second. That was a quick response. Tell me about it. To be honest, it's starting to get irritating. But listen, Mr. Delight. At the trial today, we learned the true identity of the thief, didn't we? I don't want to do his laugh. Take a good look, everyone. Unable to find a rival worthy of my genius, I was forced to create one by myself. Here I am, the tragic clown. Oh boy. Hmm. I guess it's true. I wasn't the one who stole that urn. Well, of course not. After all, you were at KB Security at the time. So then, the person dressed up as Mask the Mask in this photo. It's gotta be Detective Atme. So that night, you didn't go to Lordly Taylor. You went to KB Security, right? Yes, I went to KB Security at the time the blackmail note said I should. Alright, what happened next? Well, I used to work there, so I knew where the CEO's office was. I knocked, but there was no answer. So I used the key card to unlock the door. That's probably when he dropped his wallet. When I went to the CEO's office, someone was in there. Someone? Then suddenly they bashed me over the head. BAM! Was it Kane Bullard that hit you? I don't know. The person ran away while I was still stunned. When I came to my senses, the sight I saw left me speechless. Holy shit. The dead body of the CEO was right there in front of me. I thought I'd die myself. Anyway, I thought I should do something with the body. So that's why you put it in the safe? Yes, that's right. I used to be chief of one of the security teams, so I knew how to open it. Okay, and what did you do after that? Well, I got out of there for starters. I was the one who set up the security cameras in that building. So I knew how to avoid being spotted by them. Nick. All of a sudden, Mr. Delay kind of sounds like the murderer to me. Please don't say that. Mr. Delight, is it true that 1 year ago, you were forced to quit KB Security? Oh, how did you? I'm begging you, please don't tell Tessie, please! This dude. Don't worry. We haven't told anyone yet. Thank goodness. No, but I'll suppose I'll have to tell her sometime. She'll find out eventually. We'll find out eventually. Why have you been hiding it from her anyway? Desi would despise me if she ever found out I was living a life of crime. A criminal, a thief. She'd never forgive me. My marriage would be over. Knowing that, why did you become a thief in the first place? Because Desi spends money like it's water. There's no job in the world that could bring in enough money. Except being a thief. At least, that's what I thought anyway. So I became Mask the Mask for Desiree, huh? The buzzer went off just once around the time that Bullard was killed. Ah! That's scary! Do you know anything about that, Mr. Delight? Sorry, I'm afraid I don't. Why am I not surprised by how clueless he is anymore? Hey, this is an article about my debut heist. Boy, that was a tough one. Before I knew it, they were hot on my trail. But Mask the Mask, he must have gotten away, right? It says in the article that he disappeared. That's right! I got a sudden burst of inspiration. I hid my Mask the Mask costume in a nearby plastic bucket. I quickly changed to my security guard uniform. Pretty clever, huh? Wow, awesome! Well, hey, hold the phone! The guard in this photo. Is this you, Mr. Delight? That's right. Nice trick if I do say so myself. Nice and easy to figure out. Even pros could see through that in a heartbeat. But as you might expect, Detective Atme found the disguise. He truly deserves the title of Ace Detective. Detective Atme found the Mask disguise? That's interesting. Yes, and I heard that he brought it home with him. Brought it home with him. So that's it. That's when Atme got his hands on this. Thanks to that, I got the chance to remake my costume. That must have been really time-consuming, huh? Yes, it took quite a while to complete. Anyway, a few days after that, I received the first of the blackmail letters. Oh. Blackmail letters? You got them starting when? Tell me more, now! Hey, calm down. Don't get so worked up. This blackmail letter. Is this the first one you've got? No, of course not. But this is the first one that ever called me out to a specific location. So, did you start receiving blackmail letters after this incident? Yes. Just a few days after the Tier of Eminon heist. That first letter, it said, I know you did it. So someone found out about your true identity? Just like that? It's not easy being a master thief, you know. I've got proof that it was you, so give up! It went on to say. So in the end, I had to give up the treasure I went through all that trouble to steal. Is that right? Hey, hang on a second. What do you mean you had to give it up? Oh, don't worry. After I put the jewel in the safe deposit box in the letter specified, someone sent me $10,000. No one said anything about me being worried, you know. After that, I started getting the plans in the mail. But plans? Oh, heist plans. What are these plans you're talking about? They were instructions on how... on how to steal a crown or paint some other... or painting or some other rare treasure. Sorry, I keep getting distracted. It showed security blind spots, escape routes, and even suggested training methods. So you mean that the one who planned the heist was you? Wasn't you? No, it wasn't. I only planned the very first one. After that, I received plans from some very kind person. Incredibly detailed plans. It sounds like Mr. Delight is thankful to the person that was blackmailing him. So Ron Delight was masked to mask after all? But... someone else is behind the thefts. Someone who planned them all out in detail. All I had to do was deposit the treasures I stole into the safe deposit box. Then I just waited for the cash to come in the mail. Could you try not to look so gleeful about it? So you went after the Sacred Urn because of one of those plans too? Well, see, truth is, I've never seen the urn. All I did was follow the instructions and steal what I was told to steal. Mr. Delight, is everything you just told me the truth? Yes, but please don't tell Desi, okay? Ron, before we go, there's one more thing I want to ask you. Yes, but please don't hurt me. Mr. Kane Bullard, do you swear that it wasn't you who killed him? Yes, of course! I could never... I'm not lying! All I did was hide his body in the safe. But then I was afraid they'd discover what I did, so I turned myself in yesterday. Why? Well, if the judge had ruled that I was guilty of robbery, then I have an alibi, right? I guess so. You're really clever, Mr. Delight. I guess I have no choice but to take Mr. Delight at his word. Mystic Maya! Hey! Pearly! Pearly! Pearly, Pearly, Pearly. Pearly. I'm back! Hey, Pearls. So what have you been up to this whole time? The Sacred Urn, Mr. Nick. I took it back to Crane Village to have it examined. And what did you find out? Well, there's no need to worry. They said it's the real urn. Huh. That's a relief. I was really worried. But there's one small problem. Problem? There's these cute little pink splotches. They said that it's paint. And that they were put on the urn recently. Why are we talking about the pink splotches again? What's the big deal? What's the big deal? We gotta find out how they got there. That's the big deal. What's the... Yes, Mr. Nick, we gotta find out how they got there. Okay, we'll go find out how they got there. But please don't forget about me. Found in Amy's office, covered in pink splotches, but it's a genuine article. Just going everywhere. Okay, October 13th, Lord Taylor, basement warehouse. Oh, Pearl, how nice to see you. Hello there. I haven't seen you around lately. What have you been up to? Well, actually, I was having this urn examined. Oh, I see. Maybe if we take another good look at the urn, we can figure out the mystery of what actually happened here. Nick, let's look around one more time. Okay. This box, there's something about it that's bothering me. That's the box that the sacred urn was in. It looks like there's some pink paint on it too. And it's definitely the same color as the stuff on the urn. I think I know how the paint got on it now. Alright, let's investigate again, Nick. Urn box, a wooden box that had the sacred urn in it, has pink paint stain, has pink blood stains on it. Detective Amy said he got hit in the back of the head with this by the thief. But that was obviously a lie. Because it turned out that Amy was the real thief. It's still hard to believe. It looks like Adrian feels really bad about it. I'm gonna take full responsibility and fix that sword myself! I know I don't look it, but I have complete confidence that I can fix it right up. I promise I'll fix it so you never knew it was bent in the first place! Please be gentle with it. This is the camera and computer that Detective Amy set up, huh? Well, that's what he said. And yet he still let it take a picture of him. I guess he's not as smart as he pretends to be. The camera belonged to Lordly Taylor, so we knew he couldn't tamper with it. So then why would Mask to Mask, allow that to happen? So then there's the blood over here. It looks like it's been dry for several days. There's something suspicious about this paint mark. The bottom left part of it is shaped oddly and it's shocking pink. Mr. Nick! Could it be that this odd shape is... Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is it. Ah, it's the box the sacred urn was in. If you look here, there's a little bit of paint on the box as well. Wow, you're right! Look, it matches! What is it, Mr. Nick? This is all turning out exactly as I thought it would. Completely dry, the box of the sacred urn fixed in the gap perfectly. I think it's all starting to become clear. We're that much closer to solving the mystery of what happened to the urn. But first, I would like to examine this. The statue wasn't where it is now when we first came here, right? Well, yeah, it was right next to the door, wasn't it? Well, if someone moved it, it was probably Mask to Mask. Maybe if he didn't like being watched by Mystic Amy while he stole the urn. Hey, cut it out! You're giving me the creeps with that kind of talk! Jesus. And let's scan this just for the hell of it. It says Organi. No, it doesn't, Nick. It says Organize. You just can't see the last two letters. Yeah, well, I guess no one else can read it either, because... I can't even speak, because this place is a mess. Yeah, so you should feel right at home. Right? And in this door... It looks like the door to the actual storeroom. I can see lots of big boxes and stuff back there. I guess that's where they were keeping the sacred urn. Remember, Maya, Miss Andrews said we're not allowed in there. I guess... Okay, let's count this too. It looks like a part of a big signboard. All I can read on it is the bird. Aha! I've got it! Maybe it's supposed to say hamburger. Why would anyone write hamburger that big? Like, maybe for the World Hamburger Festival or something? I kinda doubt it. Aha! I've got it! Maybe it said spaghetti! Why are you talking about food? Oh wait, that's normal for you. Anyway, it says burr. There's no way it could be spaghetti. Well, maybe it was a typo. It might have said Spaghetti Festival. What do you think? Okay to me. Besides, spaghetti is the only thing more tangled than your reasoning. No, wait, I didn't scan the ladder! Oh, look, a ladder! That's a step ladder. So, what's the difference? You need to stop judging things based on narrow-minded cultural assumptions, Nick. Right, sorry. Why do I feel like we've had this exact same conversation before somewhere? We've had it too many times, dude. Okay, you know what? Let's try this out. The Sacred Urn. Miss Andrews, do you know anything about the Sacred Urn? Do I know anything? I'm in charge of the entire treasure exhibit! The urn that was submitted before the court today. It's obviously not the same urn as before. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Maybe it isn't the same. It could be a fake. A fake? You're the one who said it wasn't the same, so that's the most obvious explanation. Do you have any evidence that the urn was submitted at the trial was genuine? It's the urn itself. Sorry to break it to you, but the urn is a genuine article. Pros went back to Crane Village and had it examined. Is that right? That's nice, but I don't see how... What she discovered was that the urn had been broken. Again. Did you say... again? Yes, it was broken once a year ago. Now it looks like the same thing has happened. And quite recently, too. Recently? Are you saying this urn was broken recently? Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Why do you think it was broken recently? How do you know? So, Mr. Wright? Huh? Why do you think it was broken recently again? Well, because I'm... sorry, but that's not a valid explanation. The hunter has become the hunted. Wrong! Wrong again! Oh. Yeah. This poster was made recently, right? Poster? Ah! The poster for the exhibit. At the time when this photo was taken, the urn said, I am on it. But now, for some mysterious reason, it says, Amy! When the urn was fixed, the letters were transposed. Ah! I am? What does that even mean? I don't know anything about that. I wasn't even there when the photo for this poster was taken. That was a mistake. Now, tell the truth. Wait! 4? Even if the urn was broken, I had nothing to do with it. Huh? Yes, that's it. It must have been one of those people at the photo shoot. They probably dropped it. I'm sure that's what happened. Huh. It looks like she's not gonna give up that last cyclock so easily. Do you have any proof the urn was broken here at Lordly Taylor? Now I can present this. Well, Miss Andrews, what is this supposed to mean? There is pink paint all over this urn. And there is pink paint all over the floor and the walls of this basement warehouse. In other words, this urn was broken here. You can't weasel out of this one, Miss Andrews. But... Uh-oh. She's trying to make her escape. But you can't get pink paint anywhere. Well, there's none in my office, that's for sure. Well, there is in my room. Liar. Anyway, the paint on the urn and the paint on the floor. There's no proof that it's the same paint. Come on, this is getting ridiculous. The proof linking the paint on the urn to the paint on the floor is... this box. The urn was stored in this, right? Yes, that's right. Well, there's pink paint on this box as well. I think you already know where I'm going with this, don't you? Yes, more or less. Paint on the floor has an odd shape imprinted in it, doesn't it? Yes. If you put this box into the impression on the paint, you can see it fixed perfectly. Which means the box was dropped right over there. And that is when the urn was broken. Your name does you justice, Mr. Wright. Cool. I'm so sorry. I was the one who broke the urn. Why does this make me feel like some sort of evil school teacher? Dude. I'm a terrible person. Not only did I break it, but I tried to hide what I did. Well, it's not so hard to understand. Is it, Pearly? No, not at all. I know just how she feels. It happened about 2 weeks ago. Just after the poster photo was taken, on the same day the urn arrived here. I thought I'd put it away down here for safekeeping. I was carrying it in the box. When I tripped on a paint can, I lost my balance. The box I was carrying crashed to the ground. I heard a terrible noise and I thought my heart was gonna stop. Fearing the worst, I opened the lid of the box and that's when it happened. The broken pieces of the urn fell out of the box and landed right in the paint. I was in shock and let out a huge scream. I can totally see how that could have happened. Yeah, as clumsy as she is, I'm sure Maya understands. Well, I knew it was the most important treasure in all Crane Village. So I tried as hard as I could to fix it. Fortunately, the shards were pretty big. And that's when the I am got changed to Amy. I didn't know how it was originally written. But any sane person fixing it would have assumed it said Amy. Any sane person? Really? Oh, Pearls. Pearls. She said she wasn't very good at spelling. Anyway, I put the urn into the storeroom and no one had seen it since then. Broken and repaired by Adrian 2 weeks ago. And replaced in its box. Kept out of sight. But there's something I don't get. When we first came here, I didn't see any paint stains. Well, that's because it was so ugly and embarrassing. I used a golden statue to cover it. The Amy face statue. Ha! The first time that we came down here, it was on the night that the sacred urn was stolen. But Mr. Nick, there were no paint marks on the walls or floor of the warehouse where we were here when we were here. Well, there's a good reason for that. On the day of the crime, around noon, that golden statue just happened to arrive from the mountain training hall. And? I realized that the statue will be the perfect size for covering up the paint stains. That's why I put it where you first saw it. I see. Now it makes perfect sense. But there's still one thing I find strange. What is it, Pearl? The day after the urn was stolen, we came here again. At that time, the statue had been moved and the paint was clearly visible. She's right about that. Well, Miss Andrews? Huh? What? I don't know anything about that. I placed it there to cover the paint. So why would I move it again? Well then, who was it? Who would have done it and why? Oh, jeez. On the day before the theft, the statue was definitely closer to the door. Then the next day, it was moved. But why? Carried into the basement warehouse the day of the crime, moved again that night. It looks like there's some connection between the sacred urn and the murder case. Why? Why do you think so, Nick? Because that night, the real thief, Rhonda Light, was at KB Security. So then why did another mask show up here? A lot of different things are pointing to one undeniable fact. One undeniable fact? The murder trial is starting tomorrow, but it looks like that thief is going to be making another appearance. Oh boy. Well, we're coming to the wire on this case. And the trial is split into two, it would seem. October 14th, 9:41 a.m. to court, divine lobby number 4. Hey, Nick! What is it this time? You won't believe how many people are here for the trial. Well, it is a murder case. What are you talking about? They're here for the trial next door. Next door? Why don't you know this, Nick? They're having Detective Atmy's trial today. Detective Atmy? They say they're going to try him as Mask the Mask. Already? That was fast. Boy, I'd love to see Mask the Mask's trial. I know. By the way, where's Pearls? Oh, she went back home. She said she can't neglect her training anymore. I know you don't like me. Pearls has really gotten into her training lately, huh? Who's saying that? Yeah, ever since that incident last year. Please, don't ignore me! Oh, Mr. Delight, good morning. Why do the characters do that? No one likes me. No one would notice me even if I killed someone. Oh, come on, don't be silly. Wait a sec! You don't mean you're the murderer? No, I'm just a poor thief. No, wait, that's not right. A thief can't really be cornered. Now, let's see. According to Mr. Delight, from his second crime on, he was following a bunch of set plans. Plans that someone had been sending to him to help him commit the heists. Do you really think there's a connection between the thief and the murderer, Nick? It's possible, but today's trial is a race against the clock. Huh? How come? Let's just take our time like always. I'm afraid that's not an option. Huh? October 14th, 10 a.m. District Court, Court number 6. Court is now attention for the trial of Mr. Ron Delight. The defense is ready, Your Honor. You're ready? Preparation is the last refuge of the weak. Okay, settle down, everyone. Let's begin with your opening statement, Mr. Godot. He's got the judge in the palm of his hand yet again. He's a total rookie. Ron Delight is simply too young to be sent to war. That's all. I'm afraid I have no idea what that means, Mr. Godot. Ha! Then you need to get out more, Your Honor. Life is war. But that is exactly why you must be more precise in your wording. That's all my statement means. You understand now, right? Yes, well then, let me briefly summarize the details of this case. Wow, the judge is taking charge like he knows what's going on for a change. The victim is Kane Bullard, CEO of KB Security. His body was found in a safe at approximately 9 a.m. on the morning of the 13th. However, the time of death was estimated as 1 a.m. on the previous day. And that's when our little lost kitten dropped the ball. That little lost kitten is, of course, the defendant. Very well then, Mr. Goddard, please call your first witness. I never drink more than 70 cups of coffee during any given trial. 17? But the first one is always the best. Oh, Mr. Godot, your witness. Okay then, let's hear what the defendant, Mr. Ron Delight, has to say for himself. The defendant? Well, Mr. Wright, does the defense have any objections? It may be a bit of a disadvantage having the defendant testify, but... I remember when Mia was defending me. She allowed me to testify so she could do the cross-examination. She put a lot of trust in me back then. We have no objections, Your Honor. The defense will allow Mr. Delight to testify. Ha! You've got guts, tried. All right then, Mr. Ron Delight. Please take the stand. You did it, didn't you? Yes. What? No. That's not true. For a moment there, I thought we'd set the record for the shortest trial ever. Oh my god. That is stupid. Well, Mr. Delight already looks plenty guilty with that face he's making. And once he opens his big mouth, he'll probably put the last nail in his own coffin. Ha! Very well. Now then, can you tell me something? If you didn't kill Bullard, why did you go to KB Security? Well, well, it's kind of hard to say. Oh boy, I wish I could go home. Now then, let's hear some testimony about what happened. Meow, 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 meow. He's sick. My visit to KB Security. That evening, around 1 a.m., I went to see Mr. Bullard in his office at KB Security. The blackmail letter I got, it ordered me to go there. I've been working for KB Security until a year ago, so I knew where his office was. 1 a.m., the exact time the murder took place. The week get washed away by the tides of fate. Strong, drink it up. Ha! Spirited ate too. Just like my destiny. You never know that from the way he's chugging it down. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, if you please. Around 1 a.m. There wasn't much to his testimony, was there? Sounds like he's avoiding something. At least that's what it sounds like to me. Oh, I got a bad feeling about this. We're be careful. But if we don't find a way to make him spill the beans, we'll never get closer to the truth. Yeah. When I am, huh? You absolutely sure about that? Yes, that's what my watch said when I was entering the CEO's office. No. Actually, I'm not really sure. My watch was slow, and my internal clock was also... 1 a.m. That's the exact time the victim, Mr. Bullard, was murdered, correct? It's too late for a coffee date, that's for sure. Edordi there? It was the first time I got a blackmail letter that wanted me to go somewhere. Does that mean you've gotten other blackmail letters then? Oh, of course. They'd say things like, steal this or take that. Ah, why don't you save those for later, Mr. Delight? Please don't say anymore! Now, what should I do? Press harder. So what did the blackmail letter in question say? It said to bring $50,000. Money, perfect metaphor committing murder. Oh, but wait! I never intended to pay that money anyway. Oh, is that right? After all, he had nothing to hold over my head. I had nothing to be afraid of. An important point indeed. Witness, let's have that added to your testimony. Yes, sir. Ha! Mighty mud skipper in outer space has a better chance of surviving than I do. It was definitely going to cause you trouble. Because he was going to steal that red diamond. Or I guess I was wrong. What were you being blackmailed about anyway? The blackmail letter said if you don't want your identity revealed, correct? I'm sure it was referring to the whole mask-to-mask thing. But I wasn't worried. Mr. Bullard didn't have anything on me. He didn't? Anyway, I don't care what anyone says about me. Just as long as Desi believes in me. So that's why Mr. Light didn't believe it was Mask the Mask. That's why I just knew they were just hollow threats. You used to be a security chief for KB Security, right? Yes, that's right. A security chief? You? And yet, a year ago, you were fired without notice. Revenge for an old grudge? A perfect motive for murder, wouldn't you say? This isn't good. Maybe I should change the subject. Well, I was fired. Mr. Delight, please tell us why you were fired from your job. Well, the world is filled with those who have said. I wish I had never asked that. Oh, okay, then I take it back. Defendant, please answer the question. Well, I needed money. You needed money? Well, you see, Desi loves to spend it. It's kind of her hobby. Not exactly the best hobby in the world, huh, Nick? My salary wasn't nearly enough, so I stole data from the company. Again? KP Security has a lot of security info on all sorts of companies. Since I was a security team chief, he stole some data and sold it. Mr. Buller found out, and I was fired immediately. Wah! I wish I had never asked that. I was somehow able to keep it secret. I made it seem like I quit on my own. What is it, Nick? You don't look so good. Someone who brings harm to their company is fired as the punishment. You do well to remember that. He sure told you. So you admit that you stole data from your company? Is that correct? Yes, I'm sorry. This is a very important fact. Please add it to your testimony. Oh man, this whole thing just took a big turn for the worse. Crashed and blew up. It's gonna take the jaws of life to rip this case from the clutches of disaster. Wrong. Why would you do something like that? Well, for Desi's hobby. What else? Wasting money, huh? It's not a waste! So Miss Delight doesn't know that her husband was fired, does she? So it would seem. I'm not sure what to think about couples who keep secrets like that from each other. I can't believe it. This case has gotten even Maya to think seriously about couples. Please try to stay focused, Mr. Wright. There wasn't much to his testimony, was there? Sounds like he's avoiding someone. At least that's what it sounds like to me. Uh-oh. I got a bad feeling about this. We'd better be careful. Well, if we don't find a way to make him spill the beans, we'll never get closer to the truth. Yeah. So what were you being blackmailed about anyway? Oh, tisk. I'm afraid that, oh boy, he said it. I'm afraid that reason isn't gonna hold up anymore. What do you mean? The victim had no proof the defendant was masked the mask. I have a break for 3 minutes. 3 minutes. That's all I need. Done. Back in 1 minute. Okay, back. Let's continue the game. The victim had no proof the defendant was masked the mask. But you were the one who stole company secrets only 1 year earlier. But that was all over with once I was fired. But it is true that the fact I stole secrets was kept under wraps. Even so, there was no reason for me to pay up now, a whole year later. Is that really true? What is it, Nick? The fact that Rob was stealing company data. I wonder if you would have had a problem if that ever became public knowledge. I bet he would. Mr. Delight, I believe you would have been in considerable trouble if your identity as a company data thief was made public. Look at Desi. Ugh. Mr. Wright, what are you trying to do by bullying your own clients? Ha. Men are like colonies of bacteria. The more heat you apply, the faster they grow. Yep, bro. That's exactly right. What? Well then, feel free to keep up the heat, my little lawyer amigo. Lawyer amigo? Yes, no, come on, provide some evidence to back up your assertion. Well, Mr. DeLay want to keep his data stealing secret from going public. Mr. Delight, what you said just now doesn't match with what you told me yesterday. Huh? What doesn't? I think he must have been scared. Very scared. Of having a certain person find out your secret. Huh. A certain person? Miss Desiree Delight, the defendant's wife. Ah! Ah! Listen to me! My Desi! She's... Looks like if I just sit back and relax, the fun will end before it truly begins. Go on! Yes, we know. It was all your wife's fault. What do you mean? Mr. Delight stole company data to pay for his wife's spending habit, for which he was fired. Unable to face his own wife, somehow uses dirty little secret to blackmail him. And that is how this murder came about. Oh, No! I think he's fallen nearly into place for him. Don't talk about my Desi like that, or you'll be sorry! Oh boy. Well, it seems that we've learned a great deal of things here so far. What do you think, Nick? I didn't think it was possible to get so thoroughly whipped in just 20 minutes. Clearly there was sufficient motive for murder. He stole data for his wife, and he killed to protect a secret. A family man who cared for just a little too much. The motive is clear. Let's move on. What happened at the crime scene at 1 in the morning, Mr. Delight? Come now, tell us. We're all ears. At CEO office. When I entered the office, there was a suspicious shadow there. Suddenly, I was hit on the forehead. After that, I remember being a bit dazed. If I hadn't been wearing that, I would have been killed. When I came to, Mr. Bullard was lying there, dead. I see. Suddenly hit on the forehead, huh? I believe the detective from yesterday provided similar testimony. He said that the mask struck him on the head from behind. Of course, since Sammy turned out to be the culprit himself, that it was all a lie. Ha! No one's gonna believe a pathetic lie like that. What are you saying? I really was attacked! We'll find out. We'll find out if what you say is true or not during a cross-examination. Got that, Mr. Trite? Don't go easy just because he's your client. If I see any sign that you are, I'll treat you to another cup of my special blend! You don't need to worry about that, Mr. Godot. I have faith in Ron. I know he didn't do it. The CEO's office. It's a pony. We heard this from Mr. Delay yesterday, didn't we? There's not much in this testimony either. I bet you he's still hiding something. I won't be surprised once I've drawn out him. I just hope he doesn't make things any more complicated. That? Could you please clarify what you were referring to? Why, my the mask costume, of course. Wait just a moment! Mask the mask? Huh? Oh, did I forget to mention it before? Just to be on the safe side, I dressed as Mask the Mask. And then I descended upon the office of the CEO KFKB Security. What? Nick, did you know about this? You never told me this. I don't recall him ever mentioning it to me either. Even I didn't know that. It seems our little friend really loves to keep secrets. I'm sorry. I just never had a chance to mention it up until now. Wait. That's not right. You know just how sometimes things just slip your mind. Ha! My sixth cup of coffee is stirring up at me coldly. At any rate, we can't ignore this new piece of information. Witness, please correct your testimony. I'd have been killed if I would have worn my mask the mask costume. Why are you dressed up as Mask the Mask? Why, because I'm Mask the Mask, of course. What are you talking about? Mask the Mask's trial is being held next door. Yes, I guess so. Anyway, at that time, I thought I was being blackmailed over the Mask the Mask issue. So I thought I should go as him, just to be safe. Oh boy. Let me tell you, it's a real pain to move around with that cape. That's why it took a lot longer than I had expected. Took a lot longer? What is he talking about? What do you mean by it took a lot longer? Oh, opening the safe, of course. My cape got caught on the safe door, you see. This all happened when I was hiding Mr. Bullard's body. What was that? Back up a second! Yes? You were the one that hid the body in the safe! Well, yeah. Inconceivable! Why? Just why? What reason could you have? What were you thinking? Question. When does someone toss their dirty shorts in the washing machine? Oh. What? The answer is simple. When they take them off. As usual, I have no idea what you're saying. Do you mean that Mr. Delay hit the body because he's the murderer? Ha! So you're not as stupid as you look. Oh, God. His metaphor this time was really obscure. Mr. Wright, you don't mean that you knew about this whole safe business? Do you? Well, yes. Why am I the only one on the loop here? Witness, make sure you add this to the testimony. Yes, sir. Uh-oh. Looks like a storm front is moving in over the Fairweather Judge. Why'd you hide the body in the safe anyway? Well, because it wouldn't fit in a drawer. That's not exactly what I meant. When I saw that corpse, I kinda lost it. I thought, if they find his corpse, they'll think I did it. They'll think I did it. Ha! I think you had a simpler reason than that. It's because you killed him. That's why you spent 10 minutes hiding the body. That certainly makes more sense. Hold on. 10 minutes? What is it, Nick? I just had a thought. Under those circumstances, would you normally try to hide the body? And spend 10 whole minutes to do it? Under those circumstances? What circumstances? Oh! Hey, Nick, if you think his behavior was so strange, why don't you present some evidence that would show just what those circumstances were? Hey, cool. Hey, what's up? That's it. I'll take a look at the court record and present some evidence. "10 minutes took to hide the body. Alright, now 10 minutes to hide the body. That's probably not the right one. When will I be done streaming? Maybe an hour and a half from now. Your Honor, could you please take a look at this record? And what might this be? The record for the emergency buzzer that connects the CEO's office to security. If the button in the office is pressed, the security team is supposed to come running. And according to this record, the buzzer was pushed once, at 1:02 a.m. What? If Mr. Rondelite truly was the murderer, he would have ran as soon as that buzzer sounded. After all, a security guard would have been heading his way. Ha! Let's remember who we're dealing with here. He probably had no idea there were security personnel in the building. Up until 1 year ago, my client was working as chief of security. There's no way he wouldn't have known about him. But, as it turns out, the guard never came. That was nothing more than a coincidence. The fact that the guard was a pathetic loser, oh Jesus, who had just gotten punched in the face by his ex's new boyfriend, and wasn't anywhere in the vicinity was not something Mr. Delight could have known. And, oh my god, so many objections. If I had a dime every time I heard that. Ha! Again, remember who we're dealing with here. It's a sure bet that Mr. Delight didn't even notice the buzzer go off. How many objections is that now? This buzzer is extremely loud. There's no way he could have ignored somebody like that. You'll check on me later? Okay, cool. If he had been conscious, That is. Conscious? What do you mean by that? Oh. More coffee? No. Fine. Let's hear your theory. Recall the defendant's testimony. The moment he entered the victim's office, someone attacked him. Mr. Delight said he felt dazed. I'm willing to wager that he was knocked unconscious for at least a few minutes. Unconscious? So he fainted? That's why Mr. Delight didn't know that the buzzer had sounded. And that's why he thought he had time to hide the body. So what are you trying to say? Mr. Delight was knocked out, and the buzzer went off soon afterwards. Now, unless my client was able to hit the buzzer while he was unconscious, it can only mean that there was another person in that room. That's right. Whoever it was, they knocked out Rondo Light and then pressed the buzzer. Order in the court, Mr. Wright. This is preposterous. It was this kid, Rondo Light. He's the one who killed Kane Bullard. Then who pressed the buzzer? It was the victim, of course. But he was already dead. He pressed the buzzer when the defendant attacked him. He didn't die right away. He must have held on long enough to push that button. Ah! Does he have an autopsy report? Cerebral hemorrhaging from blunt trauma to the head. So Kane Bullard sounded the buzzer himself. What is your opinion on this, Mr. Wright? I need to prove that the real criminal was there at the scene. But how? Can I prove that it wasn't Kane Bullard who sounded the buzzer? Was it really not Kane Bullard? It couldn't have been. I can prove it, all right. The defense's opinion is this, Your Honor. These evidence proves that it wasn't the victim who sounded the buzzer. I present the buzzer itself. No fingerprints. I believe this is the piece of incontrovertible evidence you were looking for. The emergency buzzer? Is there some kind of clue on it? Absolutely not. Hey, come on now. At least give some thought to what you say before opening your mouth. The fact that there are absolutely no clues, it's itself a clue. No, I'm the one who's clueless. This button has no fingerprints on it. If Mr. Bullard had really pressed it himself, naturally he would have left his fingerprints behind. Rondo Light obviously wiped them off. Why would he? A guard could have come in at any moment. He touched that button. I know he did. Oh my god. The defendant, Mr. Delight, was dressed as Mask to Mask. And Mask to Masks always wears gloves. What reason could he possibly have had to wipe the button free of fingerprints? Order! 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 Ha! It would seem I've been forced to eat crow. I wonder what blend number Crow favorite coffee is. However, if the real killer was there at the scene, why would that person press the emergency buzzer? Shouldn't they have run away without putting themselves in extra danger? What's with this awkward silence all of a sudden? Ha! It looks like you're fresh out of parlor tricks. They're on to you, Nick. Just give me a minute to collect my thoughts. The real culprit killed Mr. Bullet at around 1 a.m. And Mr. Delight just happened to waltz in when the murder was taking place, right? The killer clobbered Mr. Delight and then sounded the buzzer. Even though security was supposed to respond right away if the buzzer was pressed. Security was supposed to respond? Time's up, Mr. Wright. Let's hear what you have to say. No way out of this one. Very well then. You've got some guts. I like that in an opponent. Why did the real killer sound the emergency buzzer? They didn't mean to. In all probability, the killer didn't mean to press it. What do you mean? It's possible that they simply pressed it by accident. It could have been with their back during the scuffle. For example. Aha! That must be why there weren't any fingerprints. What now? Ha! Is there a functioning brain underneath all that ridiculous hair, Mr. Trite? Huh? The accused testified that he was hit as soon as he entered the room. In other words, as far away from the buzzer as he could possibly be at the time. Ah! It would seem you've been taken for a ride, Mr. Wright. Call security guard. Oh, there we go. The killer knew that if they pressed that button, a guard would come running. And that was exactly what they wanted. Did you mean to say the killer called the guard on purpose? Yes. Although, as it turned out, he never showed up. Because he was getting his clock cleaned at the time. Ha! What a touching story. You're saying the killer had to change a heart and called the guard to turn himself in? No, I'm not. When that buzzer sounded, there were 3 people in that office. The victim, Kane Bullard, who was already dead. The defendant, Ron Delight, who was out cold. And the 3rd person, the real killer. Hold on. I already know who it is. Hypothetically, yes. Now then. In this situation, if the real killer made an escape, what would happen? The only ones left in the room will be the victim and Ron Delight. And if any security guards came running in at that time, they would think that I was the murderer. Yes, that was precisely the real killer's objective. To frame Ron Delight for the murder. Oh god. Oh, that's all. Oh my god. Order, order, order! And he realized. Crazy. Ha! It would seem. I've been made to eat my words once again. Actually, you've been made to do a spit take with a cup of coffee. Mr. Wright! Who was it? Who was it that tried to frame me? Wait. Wait a second. I'm the one and only Master Mouse. Nick, you mean the real killer is... We're going to drag that person in here right now. But, who is it? I don't have any solid proof yet, but think about it. The killer knew Mr. Delight's identity, and they also knew that he had been called to KB security that night. So, the killer used him to execute a well-crafted plan to murder Kane Bullard. Now then, let's hear your accusation, Mr. Wright. Who was it that framed Mr. Ron Delight for the murder of Kane Bullard? Luke at me. Detective Luke at me. He's the only one who could have done it. Ace Defective. Luke at me? You mean Mask the Mask did it? Your Honor, the person being tried in the court next to us is not Mask the Mask at all. He is, in actuality, the true murderer of Kane Bullard. Order, order! Mr. Wright, explain yourself! Theft and murder. Which is the more serious crime? They're not even close. Murder is the more serious crime, of course. It's a capital crime subject to a capital punishment. Please remember the trial from yesterday, if you would. When Luke at me confessed, there was a huge commotion in the courtroom. Of course, a famous detective was unmasked as Mask the Mask. Instead of being convicted of murder, he was found guilty of grand larceny. That was his true objective all along. To be found guilty. Mask the Mask had the perfect alibi for when the murder took place. He was stealing the urn at Lordly Taylor. In other words, being found guilty as Mask the Mask was Luke at me's airtight, watertight, and unassailable alibi. A guilty verdict as an alibi? You know, it's almost time. For what? For Luke at me's verdict. It was a pretty simple trial, after all. If we're going to stop this trial and stall that one, we need to do it now. Of course, that's assuming you have proof that the detective was the one who committed the murder. Mr. Luke at me's trial has indeed attracted the attention of the entire country. If we were to intrude and fail to provide adequate proof of his true crime, Mr. Delight will be left with no grounds for appeal. Am I really sure about this? Ha! A bet's only good when your life's the ante. Mr. Wright, I believe in you! Mr. Delight. So, please, I'm begging you! Thanks. What? My decision will determine the rest of your life. Can I really risk your life like this? Mia! Phoenix. What was that? Don't stray, Phoenix. For your client, take the path of trust. That voice. It sounds like... Mia! Your Honor, the defense requests an immediate recess. Ha! So that's your answer, huh? Very well, I've decided as well. This court will now take a 20-minute recess. Mr. Wright, when we return, please summon Mr. Luke at me to the stand. Yes, Your Honor. Alright, 11:58 a.m. District Court. Courtroom number 5. Oh, God. Well, Sir Detective at me? I have to do 2 of them in a row. I have to say, Mr. Payne, you performed splendidly. Oh no, Sir Detective at me. You were the one who... That's enough! Who the hell is that? That's enough! What the hell? This court sees no reason to further prolong this trial. This court finds the defendant Luke at me Wait! Don't hand down your verdict yet, please! Well, well, Sir Lawyer, welcome to my courtroom. Who's this hoser, huh? What the actual hell? What is that face? What is that face? Jesus, oh my god. What is that? Oh my god, it's so stupid. It looks so stupid. My name. My. My. Oh jeez. Oh my god. This is, my name is Phoenix Wright, attorney at law, and I wish to file an accusation against this man. Look at me. Accusation? You accuse Mask to Mask? That man is not Mask to Mask. He's just a ruthless murderer. What? Look, I'm sorry. I had to give him a much stupider voice. I had to. Well, because he looks like that, is that a fair reason? Is that fair enough? Well, does that other judge look like that? Alright, alright. Alright, 12:14 p.m. District Court, defendant lobby number 4. My sis? I could have sworn I heard Mia's voice. So then, she's still alive. Inside your heart. Nicky boy! Oh, Mr. Light. Is it true that detective is the real killer? To be honest, we don't have any definitive proof. But he's the only one who could have done it. But wasn't he at Lordly Taylor that night? Not to mention, we don't exactly know his motive. I mean, why would Detective Atme want to kill Kane Bullard? Oh, oops! It's almost time. Better get back to the courtroom. I need to find some solid proof, and it's got to happen sooner rather than later. Courtroom number 6. Now then, this court is back in session. Mr. Luke Atme, please take the stand. Give me a second. Well, well, how do you do, sir, lawyer? I never would have thought to see you acting so recklessly. I couldn't let him hand down your verdict just yet. Not one who would have given you your perfect alibi. An alibi by the name of Mask to Mask. I'm sorry, I'm afraid even the great Luke Atme has no idea what you mean. Of course, I have been in the next courtroom ever since 10 o'clock this morning. I'm afraid there's no way I could know what's been going on in here. You've been in the defendant's seat all day long, correct? Being tried as Mask to Mask. Indeed. It's truly child's play to fool the ignorant masses. Not only did the poor fools ask me to protect their valuables, they even gave me a generous reward upon returning their own property to them. Take this red diamond ring that sparkles upon my divine finger, for example. So you continue to insist that you are, in fact, Mask to Mask. Oh, of course. Well then, Luke Atme, let us begin with a simple question. On October 12th at 1 a.m., Kane Bullard was murdered. Where were you at that time? One without knowledge lacks even the knowledge that he should be ashamed of himself. But don't worry, I will not hold it against you, Sir Judge. Thanks. Alright, Mr. Atme. The night of the murder. Speak! We're all ears. As you wish, Sir Prosecutor. The alibi. I was stealing Diana's mask to mask, just as I announced I would. I had more than enough time to prepare. I was a pathetically easy job. Photograph contains no words, but in this case, one turned out to be my witness. The time at which the camera captured mask to mask was the same time as the murder. It seems the main point of discussion will be this photo of the crime scene. Everything else up until now was all part of his plan. There has to be a secret to this picture as well. Even the great mask to mask cannot be in two places at once. Now then, if you'll excuse me, I have a verdict to receive. Unfortunately, Mr. Atme, we still have to do your cross-examination. A fool is too foolish to know that he is a fool. You're starting to sound like Francisca. I think he's trying to say that you're full of it, Nick. The only thing that's full of it is his alibi. Okay. So this alibi is false? It has to be, or he couldn't have killed Mr. Bullard to keep his security. But I'm not really spotting anything unusual. There are two possibilities. Either the mask to mask in the photo is a fake, or the photo itself is. So by photograph you mean this piece of evidence here, is that correct? Indeed that is it! The very thing that proves I committed the crime. The very thing that proves you committed the crime. When you think about it, it's really odd. You say that almost as if you had this picture taken on purpose. He was simply caught by the very camera that he had set up. We all have days like that. Indeed. It turned out that there was no such thing as the perfect crime after all. Life is truly an ironic thing, a sad blue melody. It looks like I better gather more information for now. If he's truly the killer, there's gotta be something phony in that photo. About the camera that took this photograph. Oh, come now, it's all too clear what you're thinking. Huh? You think I altered the timestamp on the photograph, don't you? I'm afraid that's impossible. The camera was set up by Lordly Taylor, and on top of that, it was Lordly Taylor's staff that printed that picture's data. Unfortunately for the defense, there's no way that picture could have been altered. I see. It looks like I better find something else that could be suspicious. So... I believe Adrian Andrews hired you at one point. That's right. That was over 20 days ago, if I'm not mistaken. You sent the calling card to load the tower 10 days before the heist. That would mean you sent out the card after you began your security watch, right? Indeed. There was no reason why I couldn't do both jobs at once. It was the perfect opportunity to steal my latest target. I see. You truly are evil, aren't you? Yes, evil is what I am. Hey, Nick, isn't there something odd about this? Huh? Detective Atme was always proud of his ace detective skills, right? But if the urn was stolen from Lordly Taylor while he was the only one watching it, he'd have no way to maintain his perfect ace detective persona. You know, it's true. It's kind of odd. Correct. Indeed it is, that is it. The very thing that proves I committed the crime. The very thing that proves you committed the crime. Surely even you understand by now. I don't understand. And don't call me Shirley. Lordly Taylor provided that camera, no one could have tampered with it. That means I could not have killed Kane Bullard, unless I had an accomplice. Come on, think long and hard about that night. The basement warehouse and this picture. Ren! Ren! I mean, Charlie! And... Man, no one's been watching for like an hour. No, seriously, no one's been watching. I mean, I expected some people to I expected some people to show up, but oh, and your phone was charging. I expected some people to show up, but I didn't expect no one to show up. Seriously. Can you stay for the rest of the stream? Since no one's been watching. It's the basement warehouse in this picture that supposedly captures it. It's gotta be here. Isn't there something funny about this picture? You. Please. Are you implying that this picture is a fake? Alright, I'm gonna tell you everything that happened. Oh, I'm thinking for the... So... we talked with Adrian about the Sacred Urn and how it fell out of the box and now was put back together. And, we're trying to see who the real murderer is, Yeah, like, this turned into a murder case when I wasn't even expecting it. Basically, what was I gonna say? So this dude, Kane Bullard, was murdered in the CEO office. He looks kind of stupid. And we all think it was Ron. Well, at first they suspect Ron. Now we're trying to convict Alistair of this whole crime. That's the best way I can explain it. Are you implying that this picture is a fake? You bet I am. There's definitely something strange about this picture. We took a look around the basement warehouse that night before the theft took place. And there's something in this photo that doesn't match my memory of that night. Very well, then let's hear what you have to say. What about this photograph do you find funny? I'd say it's the blood! The funny part is right here. Why, this is a blood stain! Oh, blood! No, this case is getting interesting! How does he know? Not exactly. The stain is actually pink blood. Pink paint, sorry. Oh, just paint. And peach colored at that. From blood to peaches, the judge sure loves going on his wild tangents. The problem with this photograph is not the paint. The problem is when you consider the layout of the basement warehouse. It turns out that something that should be there is nowhere to be seen. Well, Mr. Wright. What is supposed to be in this picture instead of the paint stains? It's supposed to be this. The supervisor of the treasure exhibit stated the following. Well, there's a good reason for that. On the day of the crime, around noon, that golden statue just happened to arrive from the mountain training hall. I realized that the statue would be the perfect size for covering up the paint stains. That's why I put it where you first saw it. I myself was there the night the theft took place and saw the statue in that spot. If this picture was truly taken on that night, then that statue should have been there. But when I went there the day after the theft, that statue of the old bag was sitting in the corner. Perhaps it was somehow pushed there accidentally? Your Honor, the statue is slightly larger than yourself and quite heavy. It would take more than an accidental push to move it that distance. Ha! In that case, can you prove it? Can you give us the rhyme and reason as to why that statue was moved that night? Can you do it, Nick? Oh, never mind who moved it. The real question is, why did they move it? Well, Mr. Wright, I hope you are prepared with your answer. I know why they moved it, to frame someone for murder. Who was the one that moved the golden statue on the night of the crime? The one who moved the statue is none other than Look at Me. Come now, sir lawyer. There you go again on one of your strange delusions. Mr. Wright, what basis do you have for your strange delusions? Oh, it's very simple. The witness was the only one in the basement warehouse that night. That is indeed very simple. However, why would I want to move a heavy golden statue? The reason for moving the golden statue. Here's where our battle really begins. Well, Mr. Wright, what reason did the witness have to move that statue? The reason can be found here in this photograph. Look at me, you pretended to be Mask the Mask. Believes the strange... Hey, very stupid. To create an alibi by showing you were at Lordly Taylor that night. But this photograph contains a single fatal flaw. If the statue had been there, your lie would be exposed like cheap film at a drugstore. That is why you had to move the statue. A single fatal flaw? Interesting theory. Please enlighten us. fatal flaw. Swear this picture does a Sly exist. I don't know. This. Naturally, the line in this photo is the timestamp. What do you mean? And you... Is that the Stranger Thing that was gonna happen? Rin. Oh, okay. I'll tell you exactly what I mean. On the night in question, Luke Atme went to KB security and murdered Kane Bullard. Therefore, it's obvious. It would have been impossible for him to have been at Lordly Taylor at this time. But what does that have to do with the statue being moved? Remember, if you will, Your Honor, when was this statue placed beside the warehouse door? Oh, well, the statue was taken down to the warehouse on the day of the crime, and it was placed there in order to cover up the pains. Exactly. Look at me had already decided on the time when he was going to kill the victim. And so in order to create an alibi for that time, he took this picture days before the murder took place. Oh, what the? Of course, the statue hadn't yet been brought down to the basement warehouse yet. Oh. So, on the day of the crime, Mr. Atme must have been quite nervous. As nervous as a long-tailed cat in a rocking chair factory, so to speak. Why? Because something that wasn't supposed to be there had been brought down to a place where it wasn't supposed to be. And that is why Luke Atme had to move the statue on the night of the murder. He did it to make the room match with the way... I don't know. You're going to refill your bottle. Okay. He did it to make a room match with the way it had been in this photo. Ah! Order! Mr. Atme, is this true? One moment, Your Honor. Have you forgotten this? What's that? The data for the basement warehouse computer. According to this, camera did indeed go off the night of the crime. It's true that the camera had been set up by the Lordly Taylor staff. However, the program used to manage that data was yours. That alone would have allowed you to tamper with the data. Order! Order! Mr. Godot! What is the meaning of this? Godot! I warned you about making me wait! Now put that coffee down! My 11th cup. I promised to drink no more than 17 during a trial. Which means I'm still good to the last round. However, the defense has a very good point. A good point? So what? We are all the travelers on a road of infinite points. I think he's got his points mixed up with his other points. So you say this photograph was taken ahead of time. The statue was moved in order to make it match. That's a very interesting idea. However, there's one point that can't be denied. Which is... that it's only a possibility. Men that are trapped by the chains of maybe can never reach their dreams. That's very true. No way. Don't fall for that, Your Honor. Hey, Mr. Damask. Yes? If there's no funny business in your actions as Mask to Mask, there should be no problem with you telling us your strategy. So let's hear it. Yes, please provide this court with your testimony about your plan to steal the sacred urn. The sacred urn heist. I first received a request from Lord Terra about 20 days ago. The urn was placed in a box. And Zavari! It was sent to the warehouse. I forgot to do the voice. At first. Hence, I was actually unable to see the urn for myself until the day of the crime. I knew it was an extremely valuable treasure, so I sent my card 10 days beforehand. I then handled security by myself to ensure that my crime would go smoothly. At last, I held the urn in my hands for the first time at 1 a.m. on October 12th. That's pretty much all stuff we heard before, isn't it? Yeah, but we'll find the truth hidden in the nuggets of new information he gave. Witness, you're sure there are no mistakes this time? Zvare. Very well then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Now let's go on, is there? The detective's been covering his tracks. There's only one thing we need to prove in this cross-examination. That he took this photo well before the actual night of the crime. Alright then, how do we do that? There's only one thing Atme stated very clearly. That he had never seen the urn before he stole it. We need to prove that he's lying. Wrong. So you sure that you had never seen the urn before? Indeed. You may ask Lady Andrews to confirm for yourself. My security was focused entirely on the entrance to that warehouse. However, look at me, let no information whatsoever slip through my fingers. You mean this calling card? That's right! That is without a doubt! My calling card! I guess Mr. Delight didn't make this after all. Of course. Because Mr. Atme knew about the emblem. Making this card authentic would have been child's play for him. Then no one entered the basement warehouse? Unfortunately. There were many different treasures being taken there. Thus, for a period of approximately 5 days, people were indeed going in and out of the warehouse. At last, I held the urn in my hands for the first time. And this is the photo that proves that, huh? Indeed. To be honest, even if a photo was taken, I didn't think it would matter terribly much. Ren? 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 Hey, Nick. Oh, there you are. One day the judge might kill someone. That'll be a nice plot twist. Oh, boy. Hey, Nick. If this photo is a fake, Detective Atme might have stolen the urn whenever this was taken. That's true. You know, He's been saying that he never saw the urn until that night. If we can prove that he's lying... Damn it. Wait. Ah, the calling card. What's with me and murder games? Oh, I don't know. Mr. Atme, if you really are mask to mask, then you also wrote this calling card, correct? Then have call us. Is there a problem with that calling card? Allow me to read a passage from the calling card that Mask to Mask had written. Take good care of the speckled urn. Now, the speckled ear surely refers to this pink pattern on the sacred urn. Yes, that is true. But so what? Truth be told, there's no way that Mask to Mask could have known about this pattern. What do you mean? This pink spotted pattern on the urn is actually nothing more than paint stains. Paint stains? And these stains did not appear until after the urn had been taken to Lordly Taylor. I'm not finding this joke to be very funny, Mr. Trite. The day that the sacred urn was taken to the warehouse, the urn was broken due to human error, or should I say an error-prone human. And that's when the pink paint got on the urn. I'm lagging a bit? What do you mean? Ugh. Oh, the game was? Oh, okay. You can't be serious. And its calling card clearly mentions the paint pattern. Which means, the thing that may have seen this urn long before the crime ever took place. In fact, you saw it when this fake photo was taken. And because this photo is a fake, your alibi for the night of the murder no longer holds water. Oh my god. Witness, you have anything to say for yourself? Alright, that did it. He's broken. Don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry. No, not really, I am. He's broken. Nick? I think it's still a little early for a victory pose. Huh? Go dots. Ha! It's so sad. No one has any conviction these days. Conviction, you say? Yesterday, we all decided unanimously that this man was Mask to Mask. And now, we're calling him a murderer. Okay, seriously, Rin, I don't know what you're talking about. Calling a murder. You don't think we're being a tad fickle? That's a good point. No way! Don't fall for that too, Your Honor! You have your suspicions on Racer? You think Speed Racer is... Why am I calling him Speed Racer? You think Racer is the murderer? Don't fall for that too, Your Honor. You say that Luke at me was the one who killed Kane Bullard? Let me ask you this. Why would you do that? Excellent point. Motive, Mr. Wright. Motive. Might you my merry murderous motive manifest? Nick! He's getting a second win! If he prepared an alibi and pinned his crime on the light as you say, he must have had a very strong motive for murder. The only one with any motive we've seen is Rhonda Light. Isn't that right, Detective? Indeed. According to my own research, the boy's motive is clear. Without a motive, it's nearly impossible to prove guilt in a murder case. Now then, maybe you can enlighten us as to what the defendant's motives were. I'd be honored to, sir, old-timer. They're doing everything they can to make Ron look suspicious. Despite our lack of hard information, this may be our only chance. Look at me had no points of contact with the victim whatsoever. Kane Bullard decided to investigate mask to mask and simply mistook who he was. It was Mr. Bullard who wrote the blackmail letter intended to run the light. And it was again Mr. Bullard who harbored a grudge against Mr. Delight for his betrayal. Mr. Bullard's mistake is quite excusable. The defendant truly believes he has masked the mask. That is why Mr. Delight saw it fit to kill Kane Bullard. Truly a tragedy. So the victim, Kane Bullard, blackmailed the defendant? This is the blackmail letter found in the defendant's apartment. My handwriting test confirms that Mr. Bullard was indeed the one who wrote the letter. What? Well, Mr. Wright, begin your cross-examination. Well, I'm currently using 3 of them at the moment. One of them I started in my own time and then I later saved over. And this one, well, one of my friends started it, but we never got back to it. That's basically it. Harbored a grudge against Mr. Delight for his betrayal. There should be an angel dust emote. I'll think about that. So you're gonna try to connect Detective Admin to Mr. Bullard, right? Yeah, that's right. Hopefully it won't require surgery either. In that case, you have to talk about the blackmail. That's true. Was it that blackmail letter really intended for Ron? Since we don't have enough information, you should press him for more testimony. Maybe I'll be able to shake some contradictions loose that way. You know what? Do what we usually do. Press everything. And who in the world is going to prove that? I will. Huh? After doing a thorough background check of Detective Atme and Kane Bullard, we were unable to find any links between them. It's all in the report. Perhaps they were connected through their work. They were both involved in security. Nope. That was blunt. In any case, the only one with a motive was Mr. Delight. Mistook? That's right, mistook, from the Old Norse mistaka, meaning to take an error. That wasn't what I meant. Just who did the victim mistake the mask to be? I should reopen the game? I will. Alright. Or it's the game or it's the stream. They're saying Master B. Why? The answer's obvious. Ron Delight, of course. Boy, I'd like to wipe that smug look off this guy's face. Why would the victim mistake the defendant for Mask to Mask? Don't you already know that? Zvare! Take a look at this newspaper. Oh, that's the famous Tear of Amenon, a magnificent jewel. That photo shows a magnificent detective as well, does it not? Furthermore, it also shows an ugly guard, namely the defendants. The defendants? The victim clearly misread this article and Zvare. You got the wrong impression. The impression that this ugly security guard was in fact Mask to Mask. I see. That was an unusually reasonable deduction. It was Mr. Bullard. Mr. Bullard. Yeah, he is. It seems as if. You mean this blackmail letter right here? It says bring $50,000. And handwriting is, without a doubt, the victim's. There's no mistake. We have an official report to prove it. But I don't see an addressee on this letter anywhere. An addressee? This letter was discovered in Ron Delight's apartment. And Mr. Delight did show up at the designated place and time. The fact that there is no addressee is irrelevant. I wonder. What's up, Nick? I just had a thought. What if that blackmail letter wasn't meant for Mr. Delight? Whoa, do you have any evidence of that? For some reason, I just can't shake the feeling that there's something not quite right about this blackmail letter. Well, everyone, are you quite satisfied? Why didn't I think of that before? Mind if I ask you a few questions, Detective Atme? Do I think the next case there's gonna be a Von Karma? No, I don't think so. Mind if I ask you a few questions, Detective Atme? Well, if it's just a few, I guess it's alright. When you said that this letter was addressed to Rhonda Light, I couldn't help but notice one major contradiction. The red diamond? Contradiction? Wait, ain't it the one he's wearing? I don't know where a walking contradiction like you gets off saying things like that. Gets off saying things like that. Said that wrong. You're one to talk! At times like these, men are made to express themselves with their fists. Why don't you show us what you've got there, Junior? Indeed, time to man up, Mr. Wright. Show us the contradicting evidence of the content of the blackmail letter. I think it's this. Yeah. Take a good look at this newspaper clipping. It contains a picture of the Tear of Emanon, stolen jewel. What about it? The problem is this jewel's color. Color? I'm not much for discussing color myself. According to the clipping, the color of the stolen jewel was blue. However, in the blackmail letter, a totally different jewel is mentioned. I'll take that red diamond you received the other day. Red? Which means the red diamond described in the blackmail letter. Can we get a new judge? Yeah, we did. He was in the other courtroom. Oh, you missed it. The red diamond described in the blackmail letter is not the Tear of Emanon that Master Mass stole at all. And your point is, Mr. Trite? So you are trying to say that this blackmail letter was intended for someone else? That is what you're trying to say, right? Right? That is what you're trying to say, right, Mr. Wright? Well, that is what you're trying to say, right, Nick? Yeah, fuck off. All of you. The cunts. Right? Rin? Okay, I'm sorry. That was really shitty. Yes. The Suzuki Billard was actually blackmailing. Why do we have to go right when we can go left? I think it was Luke. Naturally, it was the other detective at me. Do you have some sort of basis for that claim? You haven't personally involved in every single mask-to-mask case. And in the last case, you recovered what was stolen. And received a jewel as your reward. A jewel? Probably the one wrapped conspicuously around your finger. That red diamond ring! What is that? I don't know what you're talking about, Ren. I don't know again. What do I do? Oh, right, it's called a rim shot. Just a rim shot, that's what it's called. Why is bro sweating so much? Oh, okay, yeah, I have to admit, he's sweating quite a bit. Actually, to be fair, a bunch of characters here sweat too much. That is the diamond referred to in the letter, which means that Kane Bullard wrote that letter in order to blackmail you! Ah! Order in the court, order as I oh my god, he doesn't even know. It seems you've gone too far with your childish pranks, Mr. Trite. Uh-oh. I don't like the way you said that. Kane Bullard blackmailing Luke at me. Are you for real? Are we really back to this? After, like, we're taking a break from playing Persona games. And, yes, I am. Nick, come on, stand up to him! Then answer me this. The blackmail letter contains the following passage. If you don't want your identity revealed to the world. Yes, it certainly does. Kane Bullard threatened to make Luke Atmey's identity public knowledge. An identity he wanted to keep a secret. So what? So just what was that identity? Atmey killed Kane Bullard because he was afraid of his secret becoming known. What was the identity he wanted to keep secret? This is what it all comes down to, Nick. The identity that Luke Atmey wanted to so desperately keep a secret was his identity as... He's not really an ace detective at all, is he? A blackmailer? Yeah, I didn't see it stop going red, so... Alright. Look at me. Was masked... Wait. I think this is one of those situations where I choose every single one except the one that's actually correct. Yep. Look at me. Was a blackmailer. Hey now. You're an all-star. Get your game on. Go play. It's now a little different from what you've been saying. You said that Kane Bullard was the one blackmailing Luke Atmey. Are you saying that Abby was blackmailing someone else on top of that? You have to admit that does sound a little odd. It's not odd. It's the only thing that makes any sense. Kane Bullard was blackmailing Luke Atmey. But Rhonda Lyon was also being blackmailed by a certain someone. So, did you start receiving blackmail letters after this incident? Yes, just a few days after the Tear of Emanon heist. After that, I started getting the plans in the mail. I received plans from I can't even speak. From some very kind person. Incredibly detailed plans. Detailed plans? In which case, that would mean Ron the Light was actually masked to mask. That is what we are claiming. Someone else came up with the plans and had Mr. Delight steal his targets for him. And that someone was none other than Luke at me. Silence! Now I see. It's all becoming clear. What is? When you were in grade school, you received the same report card every year. Careless, with the tendency to jump to conclusions. Am I wrong? How did you? Wait, actually? Wait, actually? You say that look at me was blackmailing Ron the Light? In which case, I would naturally know all about his relation to Mask the Mask. No, let's not override it here. Let's override it here. I would naturally know all about his relation to Mask the Mask. Well, yes. Ron the Light started receiving plans from his second crime onward, correct? Which means I learned of his identity when he committed that first crime. Good point. You certainly couldn't have blackmailed him otherwise. In that case, let's see some hot, bitter evidence. During the first crime, how did Luke at me know that Ron Delight was Mask the Mask? This is the only thing I can... Alright, I'm thinking about two things. This one and this one. Unless there's something else. Hold on. No. Alright, I'm gonna try presenting this one. If it's not it, then... It's not. Okay. Oh, it was that one. I think I see it. See what? When you were in grade school, you received the same report card every year. Gets into lots of mischief trying to be the center of attention. What do you mean? This newspaper clipping. It has a picture of you and Ron Delight in his guard uniform. It seems that Mask the Mask didn't just disappear into thin air. He just took off his outfit and hid it in a bucket. That sounds far too stupid to be true. Correct. With tricks like that, he couldn't fool a baby, let alone an ace detective. And that's when he figured it out, Mr. Atme. That's when you learned that under his mask, Mask the Mask was really Ron Delight. What the? Wasn't he supposed to be Mask the Mask? Not only that, it looks like he wasn't even an ace detective. I can't believe it. He was just a slimy blackmailer. What a fraud, trying to pass himself off as an ace detective. Why you? How dare you expose me like that? Why, I never blackmailed anyone in my life. I'm a famous and proud ace detective and also Mask the Mask. Why can't you understand that? Oh my god, that face, Jesus. I'm afraid you are neither a proud thief nor an ace detective. You're a blackmailer and a murderer. That is your true identity. Well, I am. I could bother myself, so that's why I tried to do something yourself. Don't speak around you as you real fools. I say nothing even give about my Jesus religious self. So good, so that's the grammatic. Yes, I'm gonna blame my words. That's okay, blame all that. That's enough to make one. Uh, too fast. Too fast. Friend. Damn it. It would seem we finally arrived at the real answer. That was quite a performance by Mr. Atme. I still don't know how I kept up with almost all of that. Quite a performance by Mr. Atme. Bailiff, please prepare a cell for Mr. Atme. Oh, come on! The hammer that strikes too fast has no time to aim. What do you mean? I'm already prepared to deliver my ruling. Allow me to say one thing. I will be the one to judge. You don't get much more in your face than that. Because I'm... Yep, I guess that's it. That's who I am. It appears that your claws weren't quite sharp enough, Mr. Trait. What do you... It's true that you've proven a lot of things. Things like Luke Atme was a filthy blackmailer, and that he wasn't that lordly tailor the night of the murder. That's right! That's why he's the one who killed Mr. Bull. But there's still one thing you have yet to prove. What's that? Just because he wasn't at the warehouse doesn't mean he was at the murder scene. Therefore, if you can't prove that this pitiful excuse for a man was at KB security, then I don't see how a verdict can be delivered. No way! Order in the court. Oh, well, Mr. Wright. By the way, I don't know how he never breaks his coffee mug whenever he slams it down on the table, counter, or whatever you call it. Table, we'll say. Well, Mr. Wright. This is it. This is the final round. I've got to prove that Abby was at Mr. Buller's office on that night. But can you really prove that? Maybe it breaks and he gets a new one. Look. Right after he slams it down, it's perfectly fine, and it continues to be. Can you really prove that? That's long enough, Mr. Trait. I want to hear your answer. That night, Luke Atme was at KB Security and the defense. I can't prove it. I can't prove it. Just as I thought. But if we hear more of Detective Amy's testimony, unfortunately, that's as far as you go, Mr. Trite. What do you mean? I won't allow for any more testimony. That's what I mean. What? Have you forgotten? Look at me here is after we interrupted his own trial. And you have failed to prove that he committed the murder. I think it's time for this witness to return to his own trial and face his guilty verdict as mask to mask. No. Well now, sir lawyer, it seems that love wins out in the end after all. I am the ace detective as well as mask to mask. My verdict will verify that. Just as Run the Lights will verify that he is the true murderer. I declare that with the full force of my ace detectiveness. Jesus. Order! Order in the court! There's enough deliberation over this witness! I can't believe this! At this rate, run us! Don't give up now, Nick! We still have tomorrow. We can look for more evidence, and by then it'll be too late. Huh? Why? Double jeopardy. One of the basic rules of any court of law. Double jeopardy? Should a defendant be tried and found innocent in court, the defendant cannot be tried again for the same crime. That is a fundamental rule of all courts. And it applies to this witness as much as it applies to anyone else. Mr. Atme will be found guilty in a matter of minutes. Guilty as mask to mask. Which means he will be innocent as far as the murder of Kane Bullard is concerned. No way! The fact that you were unable to prove Mr. Atme's guilt of that crime here means that he will never be tried again. That he will never again be tried as Kane Bullard's murderer. Ah! Oh, jeez. Oh, and there's that pose again. Oh, there's nothing I can possibly do to him. Even if Ron is proclaimed to be innocent, the real killer, Luke Atme, will go free. You have cross-examined every statement the witness has made here today. And as long as there is no more testimony, I'm afraid I have to declare that there will be no further questioning of this witness. Are there any objections? Oh, jeez. Then I hereby end the cross-examination of Luke Atme. That... What? I think... I see it. Your Honor, when you were a child, this is what was on your report card every year. Wait, No, that had to have been Mia. That had to have been Mia! Your Honor, when you were a child, this is what was on your report card every year. Has poor hearing and often makes mistakes as a result. Yeah. Yeah. How did you? Phoenix. Raise your head up high. Have you forgotten what I used to tell you? A lawyer is someone who smiles no matter how bad it gets. The voice. No way! Mia! Long time no see, Phoenix. Mia! This is the true power of the crane challenge technique. I know that's really Maya who's standing before me. Right now, she's my mentor, Mia Fey. Now, Let's do this. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. But there's nothing more we can do, Mia. Without any more testimony, I can't cross-examine. Not yet. The testimony's not over yet. What do you mean? Your Honor, just now you said something very interesting. You have cross-examined every statement the witness has made here today. Yes, it's true, but... Unfortunately, Your Honor, you're forgetting something. Earlier, after the last cross-examination, this witness made a number of remarks. Well now, said lawyer, it seems that love wins out in the end after all. I am the ace detective as well as Mask the Mask. My verdict will verify that. Just as Rhonda Lights will verify that he is the true murderer. I declare that with the full force of my ace detectiveness. Yes, but these comments appear to have no importance whatsoever. Very well. Then we shall prove their importance via cross-examination. At any rate, as long as the witness has made these remarks, we, the defense, assert our right to question them. Is that alright with you, prosecutor? Is something the matter, Mr. Godot? Nothing. Oh, said lawyer, it looks like you're one step too late. Say what? What did I say? If you think such falsehoods will do anything to me, look at... Let's hear it. Huh? It's true that the witness made some remarks. So then, let's hear this last bit of cross-examination. Mr. Godot, what are you? Very well then, Mr. Look at me. I'm going to allow the defense to cross-examine your earlier remarks. The defense would like to hear why you declared the defendant to be the true murderer. So please, give us one last bit of testimony. Phoenix, this is it. This is our absolute last chance. Yes, Chief. Sounded like a girl's voice. Did it really? You know what? I don't know anymore. Hmm. The last testimony. Indeed, it is true that I was not a lovely tailor. I had to leave to see about another vitally important job request. I had known about the day beforehand, so I had this photograph readied. My brilliant deduction was what informed me that the true culprit was Rhonda Life. And thanks to the keycard and wallet, it was abundantly clear that he was there. I was also able to make a deduction from the buzzer, which only sounded once. The button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? The victim would have left prints if he sounded it, which means the killer sounded it. Mr. Light was wearing his mask outfit, which is why he left no prints. And the blackmail letter, the victim likely just mistook the color of the jewel. Zvati! Therefore, all the evidence points to that poor boy. Oh god, that was a really long testimony. This testimony actually seems to hold up pretty well. It's too long. The witness's earlier remarks do not appear to have been hastily prepared. All of his points have been explained, and none of them seem to contradict anything. But of course. But how did you know about the emergency buzzer? The police investigation documents went directly through me. And I always look over all the documents. It's elementary, sir lawyer. Are you going to make even more trouble for us now, sir lawyer? I will not allow any of your usual shenanigans, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. We cannot postpone Luke Atmy's trial any longer. This is your last chance. Hang on a sec. Just one chance? Ha! It seems that the party's about to begin. Well, Phoenix, there's any evidence that contradicts with that testimony. So it would seem. What do you mean, so it would seem? Listen, Phoenix, pointing out contradictions doesn't always mean you have to present evidence, does it? At any rate, this is our last chance. If you can't point out a case-breaking contradiction, you lose. That's all there is to it. Cup number 17, the last cup. It seems like the time has come to put an end to this trial. I have to find a fatal contradiction in this testimony, and I need to point it out without presenting evidence. Which means all I can do is find the contradictory remark and press it. Remember, you only get one chance. Very well then, Mr. Wright. Please begin your final cross-examination. Man, fuck my life. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold on. Oh, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 statements. Jeez. You're gonna get out of here soon? I mean, the case is gonna end soon. This cross-examination is the only chance I have to nail him. Somewhere there's a huge contradiction and I gotta find it. As far as I can see, there is no evidence that contradicts his testimony. All I can do is press him, and you only get one shot. Strap me about this last remark.
Objection.
You still don't get it, do you, Trite? This isn't the time to be pressing the witness on every little statement. I'm afraid you're the one who still doesn't get it, Mr. Godot. What? Mr. Atney, it seems you have finally admitted that you were in the CEO's office on the night of the murder. How can you say that? Let's review your testimony, shall we, Mr. Atney? But did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? Mr. Delight was wearing his mask outfit, is that correct? Indeed, that's what I said. My deductions are absolutely foolproof. Yes, but how did you know that? It was Mr. Delight. More like your deductions prove that you're a fool. I'm sorry, whatever do you mean? For some reason, I'm starting to get really thirsty. You already had 17 cups, though. When exactly did we learn the fact that Ron Delight was dressed as Mask the Mask when he went to the scene of the crime? That was... It was just a few hours ago. Back when my sixth cup was looking at me with a cold stare. Huh? Oh, did I forget to mention it before? I'm sorry. I just never had a chance to mention it up until now. That's right. The defendant had yet to tell anyone else this fact before this morning. Therefore, the only people who should know this are those who have been watching this trial. You understand now, Detective Atney? There's no way that you should have known about that! You were in the next courtroom being tried as Mask to Mask! So then, enlighten us, just how did you know about that piece of information? Well, Come on! This detective must have known about it! He probably had plenty of chances to find out beforehand! And it's those chances that I want to discuss next! That night, Mr. Delight was wearing his mask-to-mask outfit. There's one, and only one way, for Detective Amy to have found that out! Only one way you say? Please recall, if you will, Mr. Delight's testimony. When I entered the office, there was a suspicious shadow there. For a second, my client witnessed a real killer. But Mr. Delight never saw his attacker. There's no way to tell whether or not the real killer was Luke at me. It's with that statement that I'll turn this case on its head. Just what are you implying? Mr. Delight saw the real killer, correct? Now, if you turn that statement around, it stands to reason that the real killer had also seen Rhonda Light. Impossible. Detective Amy, you saw Mask to Mask at the murder scene that night. You saw him when you killed King Boyd and assaulted Rhonda Light. That was the only way you could have known what Ron was wearing. Do I think Red knows these? I don't know. I don't think so. Oh boy. I, wait. The fuck is... what you doing? Take a good look, everyone! Unable to find a rival worthy of my genius, I was forced to create one by myself! Here I am, the tragic clown! Jesus. That's the same line you gave yesterday. But I think there's a little more meaning behind it this time. I'm not doing that. What an awfully complicated incident. Kane Bullard was blackmailing Luke at me, who in turn was blackmailing Rhonda Light. And upon killing his blackmailer, Luke at me tried to frame Rhonda Light. He then claimed to be guilty as Mask to Mask in order to escape his true crime. And to that end, he came up with this plan. To use the double jeopardy rule when making his alibi. At any rate, it would seem we finally found the truth. Excuse me, who's talking? I came perilously close to besmirching the record of an innocent young man. Besmirching him with the title of murderer. Don't ignore me! Oh, God. Oh, I didn't realize you were there. Why wouldn't he be? About the verdicts? I know. You never committed any murder. That's right. I'm so glad you understand that. But I really am Mask to Mask. Huh? So, thanks to that trial yesterday, I'm innocent now, right? What was it you said? Double jeopardy? Now that you mention it, I've been careless. Careless? What do you think, Mia? As the defendant says, the rule of double jeopardy is absolute. Hold on, is Mia in the court record? Yeah. The rule of double jeopardy, as the defendant says, the rule of double jeopardy is absolute. A defendant can never be tried twice for a crime in which he was once found innocent. Then, Mask to Mask is really innocent? It would seem so. For now. For now. Actually, Maya is channeling Mia. That's why Mia's here. You forgot she was a spirit medium? I think I'll have to tell you about it later. I don't know. Now then, this court finds the defendant. Confetti! Why? Boy, this is really lucky. Wait, this isn't so good after all. You see, the thing is, I still messed a mess after all. 3:35 p.m. Fan lobby number 4. Hi, you did it, Phoenix. Oh, thanks, Mia. It's been a long time, hasn't it? Yeah, it's because Maya doesn't call on me much these days. Oh? I'm just joking, Phoenix. Don't take everything so seriously. But, on the other hand, Maya, she seems kind of torn these days. You mean about becoming the master of the Crane channeling school? Becoming the master means saying goodbye to our mother. Misty Faye, right? Watch over her, will you, Phoenix? Well, of course. Well then, see you around. Mia. Ah! Mr. Wright! I don't know what to say. Well, congratulations, Mr. Delight. Thank you so much. No, wait. Nothing really matters anymore, though, now that all of this is happening. Come on, just be happy already! Maya. You've been cleared of the murder charges and gone off as mask to boot. But, in exchange, I lost everything. Huh? What do you mean? Stealing security information from KB Security, becoming mask to mask. I did it all for one reason. For her. You mean your wife, Desiree? She hates criminals more than anything. Come to think of it, she was once held hostage by some robbers, wasn't she? She always said how she hated sneaky criminals. I knew that. But once I got fired from KB Security and lost all the money I had, she wouldn't have any reason to stay with me. I thought she would leave me for sure. So, that's why he became mask to mask. Yes, but it's all over now. The broken bowl can never be put back together! That's not true, right, Nick? Well, right. Really? Can we go back to the way things were? You'll be fine, and Nick can prove it. I can? I kinda wish you would check with me first. Can I? Mr. Delight, even if a bowl is broken, there's always a way to put it back together. I have to present the sacred urn, do I now? The sacred urn? Desi was the one who found this. Desiree, your wife. She's always believed in you, Ron. That's why you'll be fine. You don't have to worry about anything. There you are! Mr. Light. You did it, Ronnie! You're innocent! I'm so happy! Thank you. I appreciate that. But, I suppose you don't want anything more to do with me, do you? Ronnie! Why didn't you talk to me about what was going on? I had no idea you quit KB Security. Never imagined that you were really mask to mask either. Mr. Light, what are you gonna do now that you know? You're not gonna really leave him, are you? Come on, it's obvious, isn't it? Look at ever let a wonderful man like him get away. After all, my bike's really fast. So fast that there's no way he could ever get away. But didn't you say that you hated criminals? Huh? Oh, I only hate people who act all cowardly and sneaky. Like that detective. No, I see. Ronnie went and declared his crimes before he committed them, like a man. I just love a man who's so chivalrous. Chivalrous? I knew I was right about you. Every day I spent with you is filled with thrills and excitement. Desiree. You really do love Ron, don't you? Nicky boy. Yes. I'm really glad I asked you to defend my Ronnie. Thank you so much. I'll never forget what you've done for us. Oh, well, take care of yourself. You too, Nicky boy. I can feel my face going red. Oh, Mr. Nick! Stigmaya! Congratulations! Talk about bad timing. Mr. Nick, how could you with another man's wife from Mr. Maya? No, 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 you got it all wrong. I'll never forgive you. God damn it. So, just as the case came to a close, so too did my consciousness. I don't know why, but I think she kicked him in the dick. That's the only possible explanation I have. Or she slaps like a motherfucker. Ron said a broken bull can never be put back together. But I know that's not true. I mean, just look. Here's a perfect example of one that was put back together. Even better than before. Oh, that's it. Oh, that one. I heard about that one. This one is next. Which we will start tomorrow, because, oh, I really don't have time to start today. You're going to bed now? What, don't you want to raid someone? No, yes, no, I don't know. I'm pulling up the outro song. Literally about to raid someone. Oh. I am thinking I need to get a new chair. Well, and okay, so you're not gonna raid. Okay. How about we raid? Hey, there's a new streamer. Don't you want to raid him? We're gonna raid someone completely new. Look, when I say new, okay, they really are new. We're gonna raid the cat girl. Yeah, that's her name. Currently playing Persona 5 Roll at the moment. As of this time around. Yep. Make sure y'all show her some support. Give her a follow if you want. And yeah, I don't know what else to say then. I don't know, I'm kind of looking forward to this case tomorrow, you know? Yeah, you sleep, okay. Alright. Show her some support, give her a follow if you want, and yeah, that's about it. Well, thanks for hanging out, and a big cheers to you for watching. Well, good night. There will be more countless nights. Hey, you like food? I like food. Anyways. Meh.